Good evening, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people. Today is September 12th, 2025. And I see some things about the death of Charlie Kirk that I want to share with you. Some things that I haven't seen anywhere else, and some things that are really standing out to me as I look at all of this information. And so the first thing, I don't even know where to start here, but the first thing I want to say is that people are calling Charlie Kirk, they're calling him a martyr, an American martyr, the first American martyr. And all of this is really interesting based on his name, Charlie James Kirk. Charlie means free man, and he always wore a shirt that said freedom. And James, his middle name, is the first martyr of the church, was James in the New Testament. And Kirk, if you look up the meaning of the name Kirk, it means church. So Charlie James Kirk, American martyr, a free man, the first martyr of the church. Okay, that's the first very important piece of information connected to Charlie Kirk. The second thing I see is that based on the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the attempted assassination of Donald Trump and the two last American eclipses, October 14th of 2023 and April 8th of 2024, when Donald Trump was almost assassinated in Butler, Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania is a location that was just off of the total solar eclipse path. We're talking about 98%. It was not total in the location of Butler, Pennsylvania, but it was very close. Right in the path of this second eclipse is where Donald Trump got almost assassinated. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Orem, Utah. In Orem, Utah, it was also just off totality of this eclipse that happened on October 14th, 2023. There's a connection here between these two assassinations based on the eclipses and the location of the eclipses based on the location of these assassination attempts. Directly connected to this eclipse is the fact that Charles James Kirk, his birthday is October 14th. His birthday is October 14th. Turning Point USA is in Phoenix. He's been taken to Phoenix. He's going to be buried in Phoenix. And Phoenix is very important because out of the ashes, the phoenix will rise. So the phoenix is a representation of the rising of the Antichrist. Phoenix. They don't have a date yet exactly on Charlie Kirk's funeral. He was just taken today to Phoenix. He was accompanied by J.D. Vance when they transported his body to Phoenix. And Trump has said that he will be at the funeral, which will probably be next weekend or later next week, later this week. We do not know yet the exact day. I find it interesting that next Sunday, September 21st, there's a partial solar eclipse, not over America, but it's a Sunday, September 21st, there's a partial solar eclipse over Antarctica and New Zealand and way down in the southern hemisphere. But it is quite possible, and this is what I would be watching for, and if it was a day before or a day after, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just wondering if the funeral of Charlie Kirk will be on Sunday, on the day of an eclipse. You know, Donald Trump was born on a blood moon eclipse, and there was a blood moon eclipse this week, September 7th, September 8th. Charlie Kirk died on September 10th. So within the proximity of a blood moon, he is killed. Maybe he will be buried on or in the proximity of a partial solar eclipse also. Okay, so we've got all of this information. All of this information. But there's another very important detail, which is connected to the martyr of the church, and that this October 14th, this year, as James would have become 32 years old, Charles would have become 32 years old this coming October 14th. On the Hebrew calendar, this coming October 14th is the 22nd day of Tishri. The 22nd day of Tishri. And if we go back to the beginning of the war in Israel, October 7th of 2023, that was also the 22nd day of Tishri. The war in Israel began on the 22nd day of Tishri. Remember, the war in Israel began on the 22nd day of Tishri, the 7th of October. It was 7 days later this eclipse happened. This eclipse being connected to Charlie Kirk, seeing that it's his birthday. And so this year, the 22nd of Tishri is Charlie Kirk's birthday, the same day that the war in Israel began. So if we look at all of this information, I mean, I think that there is a programming that is happening from my perspective. So much information that we could talk about, and there's probably other types of connections that are very, very important that we need to see. I'm just sharing with you what I see from my perspective. That Kirk means church. And the church was taken out. Charlie Kirk was taken out. This has two meanings. First of all, church taken out is persecution. Is this the beginning of the persecution? Is this connected to the rise in hatred against Christians, just as people are rejoicing at the death of Charlie Kirk? Could this be the beginning of a wider spreading war on Christianity, the beginning of the end-time persecution, especially in the United States? The other meaning of church taken out is rapture. And so with the rapture, will the persecution begin first, and then the rapture will happen shortly after? Or will this be something that will happen together? As the persecution begins, the rapture will also take place. We don't know exactly how that is going to play out, but we have signs that things are beginning, things are advancing, things are getting darker, things are getting more difficult. Now we have one of the most important Christian voices that was a national figure assassinated. And his name, his birthday, the location of the shooting all speaks about the end times that are coming upon the United States. The date of Charlie Kirk, his birthday, is connected to the beginning of the war in Israel in 2023. The 22nd of Tishri, the 7th day, or the 8th day of Tabernacles, was the beginning of the war. Is this connected to the beginning of the war on the church? The war on Israel, the war on the church. The church taken out, the persecution. All of this, at some point, is going to lead to the rapture. On my channel, I have been watching the evolution of the new Comet 3i Atlas as quite possibly being the red dragon of Revelation chapter 12, a sign to Hanukkah, seeing that it will be closest to Earth on December 19th, which is exactly midweek Hanukkah. And all of this information that I have been sharing with you over the past days is pointing to Hanukkah. So I will leave all of this information for you in the description box. I have a playlist that you can follow and see all of the updates that I have been giving, which is a lot of different information that is accumulating and building one on another over the last couple weeks as we have been watching all of this information. Please pay attention to where we are right now and to what may be happening in the coming days based on the arrival of 3i Atlas closest to the sun, October 29th, October 30th, and then closest to Earth, midweek Hanukkah on December 19th. So I just wanted to share all of this information with you tonight. Please leave your comments. If you want to email me, I'll leave my email in the description box as well. I pray you're blessed tonight. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.